Hello, welcome to our live class. You're going to embroider with me today, and I actually have to put my thread on, pass on the machine. I'm using the Singer Heavy Duty today. I'm going to thread it, and we're going to get started, okay? I'll give you a minute to join. I am streaming to YouTube and Facebook, but I'm going to keep track of the comments on YouTube, okay? So if you want to comment live, I'll respond on YouTube, which is Wardrobe School with Vanya. That's my channel. All right, let me check if it's live. It looks like I'm live. Awesome. I'm posting here a link to, I have a membership, an embroidery membership where we all do embroidery on a sewing machine. And I'll post the wait list here if you want to join. Look in the chat, okay? And if you're watching, please say hello. Let me know if the audio is working. Let me check Facebook. Yeah, looks like I'm live. No. Okay. I guess I'm on YouTube. No, I am on Facebook. Hi. Hi, Facebook friends. Can you hear me? Is my audio working? Because I always have audio problems. And I haven't been live in a while, so I get a little nervous. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Let me put thread on my sewing machine. And I'll show you. I actually want to show you the colors I'm using. Look, this is the green I'm going to use. And I'll show you the design in a second. We're going to do design with straight stitch only today. So then for those who only have straight stitch machines, can learn and do it yourself, okay? If you're watching the replay, say hello. There it is. So I'm adding the green first, and then I'll move the camera to the needle here so you can see everything, okay? Let me change. Hi, Patty. Thank you. I am following the Facebook comments, guys. I was able to, so good. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. Awesome. So everything is working. We can get started. Let me switch to the needle camera here. There it is. You can still see me here, but then I'm sorry that's like so bright. It's because my machine is very bright, this, look, sometimes I put a thing here, but today I didn't. But I hope you can see it, right? Let me see if I can put the fabric. Just so you can see the design a little better. There. No. See? So I think, let me get my tape. Hacks, live hacks. I like to embroider with the old machine mostly, and then the light is not that bright, but then I want to really do with the heavy duty. So, because most people have new machines, right? So then you feel encouraged to do it yourself. I just can't bother the thing here. All right. Now it's better, right? Good. So I added, this is the design we're going to do. It's like a little lady with some flowers. And we're going to do the leaves first, okay? Let me see if it's all straight stitch. It's actually not. I'm just going to set the machine to straight stitch. Dun, dun, dun. I was testing different stitches yesterday, so it's all like, oh. I just changed the bobbin. There it is. Make sure the foot is down. A lot of you guys who say on Facebook like, I can't do it, my thread is jamming, it's because you forget to bring the foot down and to bring the bottom thread up, just like I just did. Okay? Are you there? Say hello so I know you're there. And then if you have questions, ask the questions. I'm gonna focus on the work, but then I'll come back and answer your questions. All right? Sounds good? Hi, Una. Thank you. Awesome. Let's do it. Thank you so much for joining me, all of you. Awesome. Okay. So, first thing is we start some stitches, right? And basically, I'll show you different ways to use a straight stitch, you know, because you can like just thread paint like you see some people doing, or you know, even like with hand embroidery, or you can do just contouring, and it's up to you, but I'll show you how I like to do. For instance, for this stem, I just did the straight stitch and I do many rows, so then we'll do, you know, it looks thick. For the leaf, I can do the same, but then I can also fill in the center. Look. And then you can do a bunch of stitches or just a few, which I tend to do like not much, so then it's not, you know, I embroider a lot of clothing and sometimes I don't find fabric, so I don't like to have a lot of thread on the fabric to not get too thick. But see, that's a simple leaf, it's pretty quick. That's done. Then I like to lock in the stitch. And did you notice how I started from the green parts first, right? Because the leaves and the greens, I like to leave under the flowers. So then we'll do the flowers later. And each flower here, we're gonna do in a different way, so you learn different stitches, okay? Different techniques. So this is just a stem. I'm just gonna do a few rows. And every time I move, I change the, every time I move, you see I move from here to here. Then I do a lock-in. I don't change anything, I just do the lock-in stitching, so then it doesn't fall apart. This one is a little thicker, so I do more rows. Then the other one, I think I have 3 parts, because this is like the bow. And doing another one. All right, so now let's do those leaves. And I'll do the same way I did the other one because they're supposed to be the same leaves. And remember, all my designs are kind of imaginary, nothing is like realistic. So they're just drawings, they're not leaves. All right, so now this one. And those little, oh, it's too bright. Those little balls, you see? I was going to speak in Portuguese, I don't know why. Those little, they're like the center of the flowers, right? Supposedly, imaginarily. So I'll paint them yellow later, okay? For now, I'm just doing their little stems. Oh man, it's too bright. It's my hand, right, that's making this. Let me see if I can adjust the brightness here. Oh yeah, it is too bright. There. Hi Glenda, thank you. Let me check on you all. Oh, you're in Alaska, Ruth. Kathy from Vancouver, yay. Hi Linda. Nice. Okay, let's keep going. I think you can see better now, right? So look, now I'm gonna move, I'm gonna cheat here just while, because later on I'm gonna come over with the color for the petals of the flower, so you know, it's okay. But usually you have to cut and move to the other design. So another leaf. And you know, don't worry about being perfect, because just like in nature, it's organic, right? It doesn't need to be perfect. The beauty is on not being perfect. There. All right, see, now I'm gonna move to this leaf, so then I gotta go there. I couldn't just stitch across, right? But when it's like there's gonna be something on top, then it's not a problem. And again, I know a lot of people tell me that, how about the foot? You don't use a foot. I don't like using a presser foot because I can see the design very clearly without the foot. But if you're a beginner, you can totally use a foot. It's like a embroidery foot, the quilting foot. Okay, so I have another stem. And those are little leaves that I'm thinking I could paint them, like fully, you know, covered. So let's see. Oh, I have another leaf here. One more roll around. All right, so now I gotta do the stem, and I can come from here and go there. Lock in. Then we can do those little cute little leaves. I would do another color, probably like another tone of green, but I didn't grab the green. It's far from me, so we'll just paint this. And see, so this, I'm just gonna paint the whole thing. And on the flowers, I'll show you how you can do That way or a different way? I feel like my top tension is too tight, so I release it a little. And look, the little cute, right? Nice. So let's see if there's any green left. Oh, there's a leaf on her hair bow thing. It's like a rose. So we got this last leaf. I still think the tension is tight. You know, I tightened the bottom tension the other day, yesterday actually, because this machine is new. I bought it like in February, and the bottom tension, the bobbin tension was too loose. Then I found on YouTube how to tighten it, and I did. For embroidery, it's better when it's tighter, you know, because then you just play with the top thread. There it is. So I think I did all the greens. Oh no, there's one left here, which that might be the bow part, but it turned into a leaf. Fine. Doing the veins. All right, now I've done it all. I've done all the, I think so. Yeah, all the green. Now I'm gonna do the lady, which is also just mostly contouring. And you know, if you're good at painting, you can like paint the, I was actually talking to Deb the other day, one of the members in our community. She's a good painter, so for her it's easier to see the, you know, the shades and stuff. But I'm not a good painter, so I just contour. And sometimes I'll play and make, you know, for my own work, I'll do like funny, weird stuff. But for the stuff that it's simple for other people, I try to keep it very simple so it doesn't come out tacky, you know. I want to avoid that. How are you all there? You good? Oh, hi Margaret. No problem, we're still doing it. If you missed the beginning, you can catch the replay later too. Watch the replay when we're done with it. I'm adding the brown thread, like a dark brown thread, because I'm gonna do the contour of the lady plus her hair once, same color. Okay. You know, when I'm on my older machines, I don't like retread the whole thing because it's more complicated. I just tight the thread and do this process. But this machine, you don't need to do this. It's so easy to thread it. And I forget every time. Hello, Textile Journey. What's your name? Yeah, live is cool, right? I think live is more, it's more fun because then you can interact, ask questions. If you have questions, ask now. And if I'm stitching and I don't respond right now, I respond later. Oh, hi, Linda. You asked if I use stabilizer. Look, I mostly don't use stabilizer. I do the hoop, so I stretch very tight on the hoop. But I will use stabilizer if it's a stretch fabric. So if I'm doing like on a t-shirt, for instance, or sometimes it's a very complicated fabric, then I'll use it. But 90% of the time, I don't use it. So the lady, I'll just contour everything and then maybe I'll paint her lipstick. But you know, the hat has a color. Maybe I'll do yellow. But see, that's her hair. Yeah, and regarding the stabilizer, in the community, we talked about it many times. You know, some members like to use stabilizer. Somebody was testing the tear away stabilizer, but it wasn't very easy. Some of them use the wash away stabilizer. And you know, if you want to do like sculpture embroidery, that kind of like that stains on its own, that's the wash away, right? Stabilizer, and it's pretty good for everything too. So you could just get that one and then use for everything. That's pretty much what I do actually. If I will use stabilizer, I use the wash away type. So see here, I'm just gonna go and find the other line. I always try to save time. I always try to like go the easiest ways, right? The easiest routes. So then I don't have to be cutting thread too much. Her neck. At the end, I'll show you the complete design. So that's hair. Let's see. The face, I usually try to do this, leave a fine line on the face so it's fine. And then the hair I do thicker. Here she has some eyelashes. So I'm gonna do this hair here. And then go to her nose. And yes, the lips I'm gonna do colorful, like lipstick. Eyebrow, I'm gonna thicken a little bit. Hello, Kathy. I already said hello to you, Kathy. Here we go. I had Facebook open. Are you using embroidery thread? Yes, I'm using embroidery thread. Thank you for asking, because that's a question that comes up a lot. I do use sewing thread sometimes, but it's not easy. The machine doesn't like embroidering with sewing thread, so I use embroidery thread. It's just smoother. You know how it's shiny? It flows better on the machine, so it's better. I'm gonna give her some eyelashes here too. Why not? Okay, nice. So now we can go for let's do her rose here. And then I'll show you one way to do it. Then for the other little flowers, I'll show you different ways. See, I was already trying to do the tightening. I tight the thread to each other and then I just pull it. That's what I do when I'm doing my old machines. But for this one, I don't need to. I can just change and save thread. Lift the foot. And you know, you always have to thread, and that's for sewing too. When you thread the machine, the foot should be up, right? When you raise the foot, the presser foot, what happens is, if you don't know that, you might know because you might be experienced. But when you raise the foot, what happens is you disengage the tension. So when you, repeating because I'm confused. When you lower the foot, you disengage the tension discs up here. Then the thread can fall into place and then you can lower the foot. And if you stitch with the foot lifted, the machine doesn't like it because there's no tension. That's the thing. And that's a very common mistake that people do when they do free motion embroidery. Oh, my thread is tangled. A lot of people are like, it's jamming. It's jamming because you forgot to lower the foot. Especially if you're not using a foot like me right now, it's very easy to forget to lower because it's like, oh, there's nothing pressure, you know, there's no pressure. Even if you're using the darning foot, sometimes you forget because the foot is kind of like up a little bit, right? Like there's room between the fabric and the foot. So then you might forget. So look, it's a rose. And you can just contour, but you can also give a little volume on the edges, you see? On the edge of the petal. So it gives more color. Contour anyway, because you need to define where the petal is. But then you go and give this little, see how I'm stitching towards the inside? So then it gives a little shading. Let me cut that one. My tension is weird. Look, just a little, and we stitch towards the inside. And looking close like that, you don't see much, but then when you look from afar, you see the difference, the effects that it gives. And of course, if you want to use zigzag, you can. But I just wanted to do this video with straight stitch only, for those who only, because I have a lot of people saying, I only have a straight stitch machine. No problem, that's not going to stop you from making beautiful designs. Look, and you can do random, you do one longer, one shorter. Just little stitches. And if you're used to it, you can do fast, or you can do very slow if you're new. Look, especially those new machines, they are easy to control the motor, and it's easy to do slow. Some people ask me, can you do an industrial machine? Yes, you can if you're used to an industrial machine. And then I would recommend you have a servo motor on an industrial machine because it's easier to control the speed. For embroidery, it's good if you can control the speed, you know? I'm gonna finish this one. And there it is, we have the little rose. Look how cute. Oh, well, I think here I can do a little more shading, just to give more color. All right, now I'll do the lipstick because it's red, right? Or you can do another color. And I'm just gonna contour it, I think. Yeah. It's a little thicker so then everyone can see it. Okay. Now let's see what colors I have. Oh, I have this other kind of like dark orange. I think I'm gonna do one flower that color, and then we can do the other one yellow. Oh no, I only have these two colors. Let me grab pink color because I forgot. Do I have any near me? No, hold on guys. Here it is. Okay, I think one of the flowers I'm gonna do this color. Let me check on you all. How's it going? Yeah, Gail, you said you're encouraged to try. Please try. The bobbin, I don't use embroidery thread on the bobbin. I use regular sewing thread. Or to be more specific, for the bobbin, I usually use, which in the US is a serger thread. In Brazil, I'm in Brazil right now, they use that kind of thread for sewing. And so I just buy those here. And when I'm in the US, I buy serger thread and I use that in the bobbin because it's cheaper, or it's supposed to be cheaper, right? Hold on, because my thread fell. Everything is funny. Oh, my scissors. Here we go. And what was the other question? No, I don't use any special needle. My needle is just regular needle. And you know, it's like if you're gonna do some thick denim, or I use the needle according to the fabric and according to the thread. It's a thing. The problem, you know, I always get a lot of questions about the needle, the thread, the settings. The thing is, it's hard to tell you what settings, because it's never the same thing. One size of needle can work today and tomorrow is not going to work with a different thread. So you have to test. Start with the most simple. Don't buy anything expensive or don't try anything weird. And then you test. So I'm adding this pink thread now, and one of the flowers we're going to do pink. I meant to grab two shades of pink, but I couldn't figure that out before the live. I think the pink one, oh, this tulip one. Let's make it pink. And so look, for that one, we're gonna do a contour, and then we're gonna fill the petals lightly, okay? We're not gonna fill in a lot. Well, the machine is weird. There it is. Look. So we contour thick. You know, I like to cover the tracing part. And then, of course, I could just paint the whole thing, keep doing the same move, right? But what I'm gonna do is just like lines alongside the outline. And then it doesn't need to be totally covered, you know? That saves time, thread, and it's not too thick on the fabric. Look, there's a tulip, okay? Now we can do the, I think I'm gonna do those other flowers also pink, because I still have to do the hat and the bow. And I will do in the same fashion, just the contour. The outline, and then fill in just a little bit, not, you know, lightly filled. But the outline, I like to make it thick. See, now I just do like a little. That's very good for beginners. If you've never done this, you can just trace some flowers and do this exercise. It doesn't take much time and it's nice. It's also good for fine fabrics because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't make any like weight on the fabric. Look. Then the other one, we have 3 of these flowers. then I'm just filling and see how I follow the lines, right? The outline. This is very relaxing. I highly recommend it. Let me just fix this part here. Then here where I didn't go far. Okay. And that one, which I feel like this flower is a different flower, but it's okay for now. Or I could do, no, it's okay. Pink is gonna be. Let me check on you guys on Facebook. Oh, you have a lot of questions. Let me read it, then I can keep stitching and answering. Connie, you asked if the videos are posted anywhere else. They are also on YouTube. You can watch the beginning later. Carrie, do you use interfacing? I don't use it. I already responded this, so you can watch the recording, please. I don't, let's see. Yes, so Philippa asked if I changed the bottom thread. I don't. The color of the bottom thread, right? The bobbin. I don't. In fact, I only use black and white bobbin thread. If it's white, if it's like a bright color fabric, I use white, and if it's dark, I use black. That's it. And you know, one thing I learned from a YouTuber, it's a quilter, a very cool channel. I think it's called The Last Homely House, a woman in England. She does a lot of beautiful quilting, and she says that she only uses gray thread, and I thought that was genius, because think about it. She says like because it's a lot of patchworking, right? She works with many different colors, so then the gray just blends in with all the colors, and that could be an option for bobbin. You know, this flower is different. A stabilizer, I don't use it, but I recommend you to use it, actually, if you're a beginner, because it will make it easier for you and you're not going to be frustrated at first, you know, and then after you learn more, then you can do, because there's many ways. You see when the needle is like pulling the fabric up, I hold it with my fingers, and those are things that I learned with experience. You learn how to listen to the machine. It's like sewing, right? But to begin, you could just use a stabilizer, because it will make it more flat and strong, and then it's not going to jam as much. One thing you have to keep in mind is like it's always going to have problems. It's not a perfect thing. You know, if you expect to like, oh, it's going to flow so perfect, it doesn't. Not for me, not for any of my members in the community, for Emotional Sewing Club. We always be like, oh, that's hard, but then you try again and it works. You know, you have to keep figuring out ways to work for you, and you develop your own hacks and your own things. Of course, I share a lot of hacks that I learned, but every machine is different, and you just develop your own hacks. The thing is, you have to try and you have to do it. Okay, the 3 flowers are done. Now I'm gonna do this color for the other flower. Or should we do the, I'm gonna do the hat now, because I'm gonna do the hat and the bow. Let me think. You know what? I'm gonna make the hat this color, because then I can go to the flower and then do the bow blue. Oh, and we have those little pistils, I think, right? That's how they're called. So lift the foot, change the thread. You're welcome, Filipa. I think, you know, I wanted to do it like an hour, 1 hour live. I think we're gonna make it. The hatch, I'm also just gonna contour, do the outline. And then you see, I'll show you how, you know, the trick is similar to the one I just did with the flower, because there is like a different part of the hatch. So how do you do that? Look, lower the foot, don't forget. See how like you could do like one color here, another color here, right? But then it's kind of like, I don't know. Or you could do like a stripe. You know how it's like the ribbon, the ribbed thing, right? So you could like do ribbed here, and then that part, so do texture. You can do like plaid, you know, something like that. But to keep it simple, we're just gonna do the outline, and then let's see if I have patience to do inside too. But I'll show you how you could do to make it simple if you want to do it. Because I think I'm just going to outline right now. Otherwise, the video is too long. But maybe if I was doing by myself, I would paint inside a little bit. But one thing for sure is that this line has to be thick. So it's a lot of rows and do long stitches. Oops. I made a mistake, so I'm just gonna paint and make it thick. Okay, so see how I did the whole thing, right? The contour here, the outline. I could, you know, like I did the pink flower, I could go there and just like stitch lightly inside to paint it, to color the hat, but I don't need to do this right now. But if you want to do something like that, it's an option. Okay, great. Then I think I'm gonna do this flower, this color. First I have to paint the center of the tulip here, look. And you know, with embroidery, I try to do like this. I'm just gonna paint the whole thing, look. So then it pops out, otherwise you can't see the thing. You know, think of block print, right? How in block printing, you use like a few colors for different parts, right? You play with a few colors only, and then use the same color in different parts of the design. That's what I'm doing here. So the hat, if it was a block print, it would be like printing the hat, that part, and then this flower, for instance, which we're gonna do now. And this one, I am just gonna contour as well, but do thick. That could also be very cool if you paint it, but it takes long, right? That takes a longer time, so I want to make it fast. Gotta cut the thread tails, otherwise they tangled. That's like a daisy. Last petal. All right, so now all we need to do is the center of the flowers and those little pistils here that are single. How is everyone? You don't have any more questions? So again, another color change, and I'm gonna use this it's like a burnt yellow. It's not very bright. It's subtle, right? Because sometimes I like to do neon colors and stuff, but this one I thought. This fabric is like, it's a cotton fabric that's great for kitchen pieces, so I think I'm gonna gift to somebody as a tea towel. That's why I also don't wanna put a lot of thread, because then when they're drying their dishes, it's like that thick piece of thread, so it's not good, right? But if it's something for you to hang on the wall, or if you're gonna do a pillowcase or something, you can paint as much as you want, because then it will be thick, no problem, right? Okay. This one I really want to do zigzag, but we were not working with zigzag today. Next time we'll do zigzag, okay? Ah, you're really enjoying. That's good. Yeah, doing it's very therapeutic. Margaret, it's my favorite thing. Since I started doing this, I couldn't stop. I'm addicted to it because it's really good for me. And I like watching too. I watch a lot of YouTubers, and I have my mentors that have YouTube channels, and I learn from them, and I watch their videos. Sometimes I watch my own videos. So this, I'm just gonna paint the whole thing, and I wanna make it very strong so then it pops. Then move to this one. We can do some shading towards the petals. Especially on those petals that we didn't cover the whole thing with pink. You can do those little, you know how flowers are, they have like those, some are just little pistils in the middle, but some have those lines that extend there. It's like shading embroidery, if some of you, if you do hand embroidery, you know what I'm talking about, right? When you have to merge colors together. Someday I want to do a live video with the treadle machine, because then it's very quiet and peaceful and amazing. And there's different things you can do with the treadle, because the thing about the treadle is that you can do very slow the stitching. Like you can do, I'm doing cross stitch with the treadle, and it's super cool. See, the machine doesn't like stitching on top of thread, so then it's time to stop. And the 3 pistils, look how cute. This one didn't have a stem, so it's just itself. Last one, and then we just have the bow left to finish. Then I'll show you the full design, because when you see from afar it's different. All right, let me change it to blue thread. Let's see, Linda, you asked a question. Would you use a lighter weight thread in the bobbin work? That's used when doing regular machine embroidery. I realize normal sewing use the same weight thread. Yeah, honestly, the bottom thread doesn't really matter. What I do is just like I do whatever is cheaper, because then it's not a thing, because it's not going to show, you know. I mean, if it's something, for instance, this one, since I want to do something that people are going to use both sides, because I'm very used to embroider on clothing, and clothing, like you embroider here, the inside is inside, right? But when it's like kitchenware, for instance, napkins and stuff, it would be better to use the same thread on top and in the bottom, because then you see the same color, right? When you see the other side, and you know, as using napkins, you see both sides. But like, I try to just save money and not use, because embroidery thread tends to be expensive. I love using rayon thread, and it's the Sulky brand, or Robinson and something, I forgot the name, or Madeira, and it's expensive. So then I don't want to use in the bobbin, because the bobbin, especially when I do those big zigzags that you see me doing on videos and stuff, it's like, how can I explain that? I'll show you in the next video when we do zigzag, but basically the zigzag is loose, because you want to see this, this is like to try to mimic hand embroidery, right? So when you're doing zigzag, it's like a satin stitch, which would be the hand embroidery stitch, and then you just keep the top thread loose. And so basically the bottom thread is just to hold it together. It's not even showing or anything. It shows just a little bit. So you don't have to worry about the bobbin thread, long story short. Okay, let's do the bow. Any more questions? I'll show the back, Connie, yes. I'll show the front and the back when it's done. Oh, Linda, you said you're fascinated with my work. Thank you. You can do it too, just get started. And look, if you guys want to learn and join us on Free Motion Sewing Club, I left the link there for the waiting list, because I'm going to open enrollment again. It's super fun. A lot of women doing embroidery together, and we discuss all that stuff like thread, and you know, you can learn on your own, but being together is more encouraging. So the bow now, I'm gonna do very thick outlines. And then maybe just a little shading inside. I'm not seeing that tip much. Hold on. the design almost didn't fit the hoop, so the tip of the bow is a little hidden, but it's working. Look, now I could do like, just, you know, if you draw with pencils and stuff, when you do like those lines to cover, I could go like sideways. I could paint the whole thing right now, but I like, it's my favorite thing, is to do like very thick outlines and then do a light fill, because it covers the area and it doesn't get thick. See the outlines. I'm gonna thicken this one, and then from the bottom it is. I think it's all done. Now let me get a sip of water and I'll show you. I was talking for an hour. Let me switch to my face, the camera here, and then I'll show you. Oh, it's so cute. You know what? I'm gonna show the bottom now, because you wanna see, right, the back of the embroidery, and close up is better. And then when I do the open camera, I'll show the front. Here it is. The big review. Are you ready? Cut it. Look, the back. See, and that's just straight stitch. When it's zigzag, you can understand better what I was saying, when it's like you don't see the bottom thread much. This machine has I didn't use, see, my tension is a 2 here. I usually embroider with almost a 0 tension on top. That's why you see the bottom thread so much, the white thread, because usually you barely see it, okay? And where am I? Let me see here. Hi. Look, the back. Let me move the machine. The back and the front. Oops. Look how sweet. Isn't it cute when you see from afar? Here, right? It's more, it makes more sense, right, than from close up. Look how sweet. And you know, this is just like a regular design, but you can make many different things. See the yellow flower, there's like orange kind of flower. I could have filled in the space and would have more colors, the hedge, the rose. But that's that. Do you have questions? So, thank you, Margaret. I'm gonna place the link to join the wait list for Free Motion Sewing Club in case you wanna join. I think this week I'm gonna do like a flash opening because we're moving platforms. I wanna invite you to join to try. And it's monthly, so you can try 1 month and cancel if you don't like us. I'm sure you're gonna like. I placed that on the chat. Oh, I put it on YouTube. I'm gonna place on Facebook as well. I'm sure if you're on Facebook, you've seen this, right? But here it is. And that's it. And I'll try to do another video maybe next week if I can. Connie West, you cut all the white thread on the back. I usually don't. You know, my Leanne asked me this the other day on our call, and I was like, I don't, but it's better if you do. On this case, I will cut because this is gonna be like I said, tea towel, and I don't want people to be like, you know, grabbing their with their ring and stuff. Anything, right, that could like catch on the threads. But usually when I do clothing, I don't. One, because I do fast, and also like I feel like it holds the embroidery on the clothing, but it's not really, you know, I forget and I don't. But then when I iron, then it's I'm like, oh, I should have cut it. So I recommend you cut it too. Long story short, okay? It's cute. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Patty. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Any more questions? Thank you, Linda. I think there are two Lindas, right? Thank you. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.